Yeah,
should still have a penalty.
Oh, fuck.
No,
You're taking away bounty.
No, I'm not taking away bounty hunters. Let me finish.
I'm not done with it. No.
Correct. Shut the fuck up. Jamie, shut the fuck up.
You're removing the point of bounty
Let me
hunters.
finish. No, I'm not. Shut the fuck up.
You
All right.
I won't go over there and cover his mouth.
Corrupted players should still have a penalty. They should still have step dampening. They should still have issues. What I'm saying is that if a green player attacks a corrupted player, that corrupted player should not gain more corruption for it. The bounty hunter system is saying that you're going to be engaging in hunting down red players, and that red player, no matter how much corruption they have, is not going to have a penalty for fighting that bounty hunter. So green players still have the advantage to fight a red player, but the red player ain't going to get tier 2 corruption for defending themselves.
I think you should get tier 2 corruption if you can.
Shut up, bro. Oh my. Oh my God. Shit. All right, there we go. All right, all right, all right. We finally are here. Hopefully, we have sound. Weird things are happening, of course, because why wouldn't they, right? You know, you play with OBS, things happen. Tonight, we're going to go with our brand new Rangers of Verra back screen slash thumbnail slash logo. We're going to call this episode 2, even though I'm still not sure that's correct. And we're going to do a little deep dive on the Ranger class, because why wouldn't we? Just left Jamie's stream over there. The PVX thing's getting fiery. It's getting fiery. Jamie Chaos, if you don't know him, follow him. Good times, good times. All right. Seems like I've got my lighting jacked up again, but, you know, we're just going to roll with it. We're just going to roll with it. Let me turn this on in just a minute. Let's get over to classes. So we're just going to go through the wiki and take a little gander at the Ranger. That's right. Oh, wow. That's not going to work, is it? Hold on. It's going to be a little bit of a... There we go. All right. We got life. We got life. All right. We're going to do this thing. I think we're going to do this thing. Hopefully the music's playing through here. Yeah. That's the way it's supposed to be. All right. Let's turn this bad mojo on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Boom. There we go. Do I need to make that bigger for you guys to see it? Yeah, I think so. Let's do it. Oh, no, not the hat, Jamie. Can't have the hat. All right, there we go. Cool. Yes. So, Rangers of Verra. Episode 2 is what we're calling it. It's probably more, but whatever. We called it something else before. Being Rangers of Verra, obviously I want to do a deep dive into the Ranger class. We are getting ever close. It is the 19th of October. Some lucky souls will be able to be in Alpha 2 on October 25th. Why is that not? Let's get this light. There we go. We need the beard to be luminescent, right? October 25th. Some of us poor sots have bought access, and it's November 8th. I am really hoping to get on the 25th, but let's do this thing. Let's see. We're talking about the Ranger. Yeah, let's just let's shut the music down for a second. Our lovely pirated soundtrack. We won't talk about that in great detail. Let's take a look, shall we? At this bad boy. Damn spiders. Annie Lace, there's your spider. So I'm pretty sure this was from the Ranger Showcase. Obviously. Keenan tank. I've changed my mind on the machine gun arrows. Like, damn. Hell yeah, son. Let's turn that out. Not turn it out, we'll turn it off. Wow, shady. All right, let's take a look at what we have. We have a whole bunch of question and answers on the Ranger class. So let's talk about this. When we did the website thing last time with the reboot of the website, which is badassery, I really think, as far as the secondaries, I got to go Ranger Rogue into the Scout. So maybe we do a deep dive on Scout and see what they have there. Let's do that real quick. So it's a Ranger primary archetype combined with Rogue secondary is the Scout. Let's see what we know. We have Airstrike, Barrage, Bear Trap, Call the Wild. So remove all snare, chilled statuses, cool stuff. Yeah, we can get the music going again. I just didn't want to do it while we were playing a video. Hold on. That's really loud for me. Probably not for you. Audio's hard, right? Camouflage. Oh my God. You become harder to see, but can't be directly targeted. The further you are from an enemy, the more difficult you are to spot. Any outgoing combat actions cancel this effect, as well as incoming damage or other negative effects. I think the stealthiness of the Ranger is what really applies to me, and I think the extra stealthiness of the Rogue is what just gets it done for me to be the Scout. Let's take a look at these. Mark of the Tiger. Marks the target, increasing critical chance. Okay. Ooh, I'm digging this. Party Stride applies Strider to all groups within the members. Ooh, Damn, son. That's going to be like if you've got a bunch of, what am I don't know, man, but maybe you've got a bunch of fighters, the close in combat dudes, and you apply that, it's going to be badass. Regen. Okay. A little healing stuff. Snipe. 400% physical damage on a shaken target enemy. Damn, I love it. I think this one is going to be key. I think Strider's going to be bigger than it looks right now. Thorns. Okay. Rogue augments. Stealth augments from the rogue. Secondary archetype will incorporate stealth modifiers in the class's primary skills. True stealth resides within the realm of the rogue primary archetype. Yeah. But I'll take that damn near invisible and still having like death from afar. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, let's go back to the actual Ranger class. I don't know how long of a stream this would be. Maybe I go play a game, but quite honestly, I wanted to talk Ashes creation with people instead of playing the games that are just biding the time right now. I mean, I could be doing physics. Here we go. So this is our tree. Oh, okay. Is this like this? Where do we start? Do we start at the bottom? We start at the top? What are we doing here? Weapon mastery bows. Altitude range of skill targeted. Yes. Mana 10. What are we doing up there? All right. Expeditious barrage. Ooh. So it looks like these are skills that are going to be in Alpha 2, at least at the beginning. 40 meters, 120 feet-ish. A vine field. Ooh. Okay, I see. So we are starting here. Thundering shot. A little less range. Okay. There's that raining death. Fire 2 consecutive volleys of arrows in a wide area in front of you, dealing 100% physical damage and applying 1 stack of wounded to enemies with each hit. Hell yeah. I think I want to go mass casualty with the Ranger. I definitely like the distance on it, and I like to be able to escape. We'll go look at some of the videos here in a second. Imbue ammo weighted. Toggled ability and imbues your ammunition with weight. Enemies hit by your basic attack finishers, barrage, or scatter shot become snared. Nice. Multi-trap. All right, so imbue ammo concussive. All right. We can dig through all of those at some point. Let me come down here and see what else we have. I always like to see on the wiki kind of all the little video links. So let's go down here. Headshot. Damn. Don't be a marked target, son. All right. Ranger augments. Hunts will be a Ranger school of augmentation. Hunts do not interact with pets. Okay. Not to be confused with hunt skills, which are toggleable self buffs applied by the Ranger. Hunts will be discussed in a further update. Okay. They are Ranger specific mechanic. That's nice. And also a school of Rangers augments. They confer a number of different types of effects to your target, but they are FX. But the FX are particularly fun. Stephen Sharif. Okay. I think it's going to be badass. It's going to be a lot of fun to play this Ranger for sure. Ranged weapons. Character may equip up to. Wait a minute. May equip up to 2-handed weapons and also wear a ranged weapon. Okay, so you can have a 2-handed weapon and a ranged weapon. I do like the long bow. Like, damn, son. The Ranger archetype is scheduled for release in Alpha 2 Phase 1, so we will get to do that. I will get to do that right out of the gate. That's going to be badass. Okay. All right. These are all just the still shots. Yes. Scroll, 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 baby. All right. I think we're going to do all this, but I want to go back to the top. Right here, we didn't do this one. Kalar Ranger. Nice. Oh, that's the vacuum upstairs going wild. I thought I heard footsteps. It was rather peculiar. All right, here we go. Let's start digging into some of the video on the Ranger. It'll be more fun than hearing me talk. Here we go. Let's kill that. And video, this is from last December. So here we go. Okay, here we go. There's some definite like machine gun fire stuff going on here. He's a big furry spider, bro. He's got to hit hard. Oh, he's curled up in the corner now. Wipe him off the shoe. Looks like a shellub-sized spider. No. Good God, man. Let's make that a little smaller. Oh, it does look gorgeous, dude. I like the wolf cape. Look at that, the fur. It's fun going back through some of these old live streams and seeing the things I've forgotten. Look at this floating rock. Sandal surprise. Oh, yeah, baby. Unreal. 5. Dude, I fully expect to find this at Christmas, so better be there, Steven. It's awesome. It is a full sandal tray. I didn't even pick up on that. That needs to be in game. Sweet. So this was the end of the Alpha 2 Ranger update. Let's go see what else we can find here. What else have we had? X.com, Kalar Rangers. All right, well, let's check it out. Oh, my. Why am I logged out of all my crap? Like, piss off, dude. I don't even know what's going on. It seems like my Google Chrome just, it had a heart attack. It's fine. All right. Not bad. I mean, if I'm going Ranger, honestly, probably going stealthy or earth colors, but whatever. It's good. It's good. All right. Archetype breakdown. Let's do that. And we'll go Ranger. So Death from Afar is a Ranger. All right. That's well, whatever. Live stream. So this one is also from last December. Same live stream. This is an hour and 14 in. Let's take a listen. We have been with these people for so long, and this is pre Margaret with her beautiful child. And wow, does it feel like we're in just a big Ashes family here? Pretty cool. Keep in mind that's a year ago. I wonder how much of this has changed by the time we start Alpha 2, hopefully in 6 days. Z. Okay. Oh, I love that. I do love that. I love Asuka's ranged combat. Like that takes a minute to get used to. There's a few other games that aren't coming to mind. Like getting surgical range combat in the reticle is very important to the weirdos like me that like to play this. Oh, can you guys even hear that? Hold on. Let me pull up a monitor screen. I think I might have jacked this up. Hold on, guys. That's gonna be terrible if I didn't. This whole stream's gone down. All right, let's go here. Probably gonna be some feedback. I apologize. That's gonna be terrible if I didn't. This whole stream's gone down. All right, let's go here. Probably gonna be some feedback. I apologize. That's gonna be terrible if I didn't. This whole stream's gone down. All right, let's go here. Probably gonna be some feedback. I apologize. All right, cool. So I have the audio all jacked up on this. Great streaming. Great streaming. Give me just a second. Let's do. Discord main. I changed a whole bunch of things here, guys. Bear with me. I'm so sorry. Tried to make a special set of scenes just for these podcast / play sessions that are going to come. So give me a second. Audio input capture. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's see what's down here. Wonder. Let's try this. Let's try Chrome Audio. Booyah, booyah. Okay. It's up there. Let's try it. Nope.
reason why it looked like Steven could do it
There we go.
unlimited was because he didn't have cooldowns, but there is a cooldown.
Let's start this one over
he might be
since
able
I
to get away
totally
from one
jacked
of
this.
them, but
Let's
say you
let's
put
come
another
out of
one
here.
on them, then they're
Boom. Right here.
The next one is tank has resolve, cleric has divine power. What does ranger have?
That's a very good question. It is the interaction between the hunts.
This is a cool cat.
That is something that we're going to be focusing in on a little bit more. Right now, that is still something that the combat team is working on for the ranger class.
And then we have, would one of the skill tree selections allow for a targeting reticle to be used?
Here's the question.
Yes, as a matter of fact, there was a slight bug with the action camera mode for this particular display, and we didn't have time to fix it in time.
Brian was using action whenever he was doing a practice.
I know,
a lot,
I know,
so.
and I tried using action in the first attempt at this recording, and it bugged out for us, we didn't have time to fix it. So
Again, this was a year ago, so they got to have this fixed by now.
Will these abilities? The question was, will these abilities work with action camera? Is that the question?
Yeah. No. It's would one of the skill tree selections allow for a targeting reticle to be used?
So targeting reticle is applied when you swap to the action camera mode. So that wouldn't be a part of the.
I think that's where I'm going to go is the action camera mode for sure.
Pressing Z currently, that uses a soft lock system for the targeting reticle.
I think the follow up here would be, especially for folks who really like ranged stuff, is being able to customize your reticle.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
From a UI perspective, just customizing the reticle shape. Absolutely. There will be a number of different reticle types that you can use.
Get on it, Colby and Co.
No, they already have a few. Actually, yeah.
Next up, we've got, what's the counterplay that a melee archetype has against a ranger? How can you avoid being killed by the targeted shots?
Yeah, it depends on the melee, right? If we're talking about fighter, they're going to have a lot of heavy gap closers. They can probably be a little bit more liberal in the use of their gap closers because they have so many of them, versus, let's say, a ranger that needs to choose.
So you're going to have to, as a ranger, be wary of all these gap closers. And then you also, I think I remember seeing, we'll probably stumble across it in the video, you have some, I don't know what you would call it, but you have some separation from the crowd kind of stuff at your disposal.
Choose when to use their escape abilities because they have fewer of them. The same would be true for a melee character like a rogue. Their approach vector is going to be more stealth driven than it would be perhaps, let's say, from a gap closer perspective.
Damn, look at him hammer that guy.
To position, and then that's where you're tracking your ability use for your getaway abilities.
And then is there?
And then real quick, the other thing is lockdowns as well, right? Melee users are likely going to have a number of different CCs to choose from, whether that be slowing the target, rooting the target, stunning the target, and then those allow them to get off their combos.
And yes, rangers can do it like once, but what you saw from the reason why it looked like Steven could do it unlimited was because he didn't have cooldowns, but there is a cooldown on it. So yeah, he might be able to get away from one of them, but let's say you put another one on them, then
all right.
They're kind of SOL.
Shit out of luck.
Straight out of luck.
Yeah. And then we've got, is there going to be spell pushback when being hit? And if so, will the fast shooting short bow punish cast bar more? So if you're shooting really fast, will it push back casters?
No, there is not just a native pushback that exists for ranged attacks. Some attacks do have pushback effects, and also casters can experience a delay in their cast time due to concentration failures. So concentration is a stat that's associated with one of our primary attributes being
so as a ranger, that might be one of your jobs, is just isolating the casters and breaking concentration, move target to target, little merry-go-round of that kind of action as well, instead of just trying to kill each and every target. That might be a primary job.
A derivative waterfall for concentration checks. When concentration fails due to damage that's done, it is going to increase that casting time slightly. It won't interrupt it completely, but it will increase the casting time. But pushback is not a native effect that lives on any particular type of attack. It is something that is accompanying a specific ability.
All right. And then why did you move away from arrows being projectiles?
Arrows are still projectiles.
What do they mean by that?
Yes. Arrows are, I think maybe what they're referring to is more on the action side. So when we refer to projectiles, we're talking about, hit, scan, verse projectiles. We are still using projectiles, but we are using a locking mechanism in tab targeting for those projectiles to home to the target should you have a valid angle in that perspective. The action side of that is that you can blind fire projectiles, and should a target move within the line of attack that the projectile is moving in, a great example of this is the orb ball that is lightning, which is kind of moving forward. You don't necessarily have to have a target to aim that at. You just move that.
You walk in it, you get juiced. Yeah.
If another target moves and you're leading that target, it will strike the target. So we have blind fire currently. We're still going to be doing some touching up with the action combat side prior to Alpha 2.
Oh, shoot.
Right now, when you have your reticle over a target, it has a soft lock on the target, and you can, rapidly move between that in action mode with the reticle.
Let me, wow. I think I have failed myself here. Hold on. Like, why do, oh, I hate updates. Oh my God. I'm just going to make sure that on Twitch.
I mean, you can leave out the exclamation, but if you're here in chat.
Yeah, we're on Ash's creation. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I suddenly had this deep, dark feeling that we weren't. There we go.
If you wish.
And then I think kind of a follow-up to this is if I'm a tank and I get in the way of a shot of a ranger.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you are able to like kind of block.
And there are certain battlefield abilities that you can use. You won't be able to just body block it, right? Not all projectiles can be body blocked. Some potentially can, but there will be certain abilities and effects like a shield wall that can be brought up, and that will
shield wall
sight to the target as well, and it will restrict some of those attacks from occurring.
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
One here is if I use wands or swords as a ranger, am I locked out of half of my kit because of the ranged abilities that are connected to a short bow or a long bow?
There we go.
So right now we are still kind of approaching how we want the character paper doll between ranged weapons, bows or otherwise, to exist. Our thought process is currently
Can I interject one thing?
Yes, absolutely.
There's a lot of new people who are with us. And so people are like, Rangers can't use wands. The way that we have been building our product is that anybody can use any weapon, any armor.
Yes.
You may not always be viable in every situation, but that is the case. And then go ahead, Stephen. I just wanted
correct.
to
And
just saw
and
the
just
chat,
for
so.
those of you who are new, last month we did do a little showcase on crafting, which talks a little bit about itemization and how you can, through certain recipes and material uses, augment the types of stats that live on certain itemizations to be relevant across all the different archetypes, right? So there is a bit of choice when it comes to players that craft these items on whether or not they want to have physical damage values versus magical damage values, and that leads to a very competitive, healthy open market, which is something that is integral to Ashes of Creation. But as it relates to rangers being able to use certain abilities with bows equipped, some abilities will require bows to be equipped, and those abilities can be used with a bow and not without bows.
And for those of you who are newer to how we have our classes set up is that you have a primary archetype and a secondary archetype. And that secondary archetype can really dive into other things, like maybe you're a ranger, but you're a summoner secondary, or you're a ranger and you're a mage secondary. And that might be more viable for carrying a wand versus having a bow. So I'm just trying to give some perspective on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of customization options, right? Your primary archetype is the delivery vehicle for your active abilities. Your secondary archetype augments those active abilities into something else, but doesn't give you new active.
I like the liquidity because obviously I'm making the choice to go Ranger Rogue versus Rogue Ranger. But there's still, you're not locked down just by Ranger Rogue. Like there is some liquidity in weapon choice, skills that you pursue and everything else. It's going to be beautiful.
Active abilities, right? And so that's something
kinda
very
creates your
important to keep in
class.
mind. Correct.
And then people did see this in there, but I think reiterating to make it clear, they were wondering, can you move while casting all of the ranger abilities?
Not all of them. Some of them root the target. For example, snipe is one that does restrict your ability to move. But the vast majority, yes, you can move. Now, there is a slight movement penalty that's applied for a lot of those abilities, the ones that can move. But for the most part, yes, this is a very mobile archetype approach.
And of course, you know, the locking down of making you not be able to move while you're casting certain abilities is a balancing factor, right? So that's
Right.
something that the development and design team can work on to be like, ooh, okay, this is very powerful. So maybe it isn't something you can do while you're moving. So kind of keeping that in mind. They'll balance it to make sure that it makes sense for the type of ability. and
These
kind of
shrooms
what
are out
the
of
type
control.
damage or whatever its effects are.
How much more do we
For
have
sure.
on this?
So,
All right.
just to,
Let's we'll leave that one open and pause it. Want to keep going through the wiki here. Let's see, an hour and 53 in. What were they talking about on this footnote? Let's do it. Oh no, Becky. All right, May 31st of 2003. What were they talking about here?
Next up, we've got DougBug27, which is just an adorable username. Ranged melee is their topic. After watching the mage yield the greatsword, I wondered if the ranger archetype will have melee-oriented abilities to allow for a more balanced fighting style, or will the bow always be bay?
So a ranger definitely exemplifies range, meaning that the majority of their skill tree will likely be
Think about it.
abilities that are based on range. However, that does not preclude them from having options in their skill suite to spec into melee-based ability types. Right? We're not creating a very singularly focused ranger. They will have the opportunity to comprise a skill rotation set that includes melee options, utilities, mobilities.
Yeah, you're gonna want to have that.
As part of the class kit.
And then
I'd like to hear about the utilities.
Dynamics. In many PvP MMOs, AoE spam can quickly become the meta and be difficult to balance with simple damage adjustments. More recent MMOs solve this problem by not having the same layered AoE spell stack damage at all. What is Intrepid doing to combat AoE spam?
We have a few ideas on how we want to approach AoEs. There's a vein of thought that is regarding diminishing returns, maximum number of targets. I'm not a huge fan of that. There is diminishing return as it applies to damage conveyed. There is just the fact that we're a collision-based game and there's a limited number of bodies that can be located in a particular choke point or in proximity. There's still things that we're testing especially as part of Alpha 2 that we'll likely be testing and wanting to get player feedback on as it relates to curbing the AoE approach of most raid comps. And a lot of different games have done a lot of different things to achieve that. We're going to be testing a lot of these different directions and finding which works best for Ashes.
Testing soon, baby.
And Sunscript wants to know about dual wielding. If the dual wield system is flexible, will there be a reliable way to activate the weapon procs of the offhand weapon?
If the dual wield specs are, say that one more time?
Flexible. Will there be a reliable way to activate the weapon procs of the offhand weapon?
I don't understand that.
So, dual wielded weapons, I believe, have a designated weapon skill tree that's based on the combination of dual wielded weapons.
Okay.
And so based on the type of dual wield weapons, will determine the available procs in the weapon skill tree. Will there be a way to rely?
I think MMO, like the community, needs to get away from the jargon.
Procs take effect? Is that
Procs.
Because no, I would say that you can't reliably
Their
create a
percentage-wise, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You can't reliably create a scenario where the proc takes effect. Now, that's not to say that there aren't certain skills that you can use as part of a rotation that might create a scenario where you're ensured your next weapon attack will trigger a proc. There could be synergies there between the skill rotation and...
All right, we're kind of getting out of Ranger territory on here on that one, so we'll go ahead and kill it. Let's see. Back at that one again in an hour 20. Where were we before? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we went through that. This is New Beans here. Let's do it. September 30th, 2022. More Ranger stuff.
That's what he was saying. And then we have from Valiant Salad, which is just a hilarious name to begin with. I love it. They asked if a Ranger doesn't have a bow equipped, can they still use their airstrike? Like, would they still be able to use certain abilities even if they didn't have their bow equipped?
Some abilities will require that certain pieces of equipment are equipped.
Oh, this is when Steven was in the hotel room. Shit.
Like a shield dash requiring a shield to be equipped, or certain ranged abilities requiring a ranged weapon to be equipped as well. It's important to note that as part of the Ashes of Creation paper doll, you have a melee main hand and offhand slot, and then you have a ranged slot as well. So you don't have to switch between weapons per se. If you execute an ability that requires a ranged weapon, but you have your melee weapon out, it will automatically swap to the ranged weapon using
yeah, the hotel was like the poor guy. Like, he ran out and tried to get computers and this and that. We're such junkies, though, that we're like, it's okay. Just give us the live stream.
But they're still equipped. One other thing I want to point out about ranged combat and projectile-based action target mode is, take, for example, a situation in a siege where you might be on top of a wall. And you might acquire a target through tab that you see. And by the way, when you're in reticle mode, you can still use tab to cycle through hard targets. You have this.
Oh, nice. Wait.
Soft target lock and hard.
Oh, I missed that. When you're in reticle mode, so action camera from the other video we just watched, you can still use tab to cycle through your targets. That's badassery. That is complete badassery. What's up, kitten? Oh, the kitten's joining us. Hello, Leonidas. That's some kick-ass stuff right there.
Hard target lock. Hard target tracks the target when, even if you're in reticle mode, it tracks that target. You can use abilities against that target as if you were in tab mode. And if you have, let's say you're on that wall and you're shooting down at enemies who are just out of range, you can fire those projectiles off at the ground. And if they move within range and in that area, they'll be impacted by the projectile.
All right. And then It's No Me wants to know, can you swap the bow in between your combos? Like if you're doing quick shot and swap to a different bow to maximize mobility and DPS?
Yeah, so you can always hot weapon swap even in combat, but you can't swap your armor and gear. Nothing that's in a hand or range slot if you're in combat.
Right, bro. You can't be like, plate, leather.
1998 wants to know, how is a melee supposed to catch up to a ranger running away from them if they're full speed? So, like, if a ranger's supposed to be super mobile, what are the melee's options in order to catch them?
I don't want you to catch me.
Melee user, right? Obviously, different class kits will provide different gap closers. They'll provide different mobility skills. They'll have lockdowns. They'll have chains to pull back.
No, you don't need to catch me.
A lot of different things in the rotation, right? You know, that's part of what an MMORPG.
Let's be clear. I want to use my stealth and cheap shot you to death and then run away and never be touched. I want to be the prima donna that does not deal with that.
Experience is you're not just restricted to 3 or 6 skills. You know, you have a rotational suite, and depending on the type of challenges you face is going to help determine which of those rotations you spec into from your skill tree. If you're having problems against rangers because they're constantly getting away, then it's probably a good idea for you to spec into abilities that lock the target down. That
even as a fighter, you agree? Nice.
That allow you to have
like, look, let's just call it the way it is. I'm playing ranger because I just want to pew pew. Bye bye. You know, I'm out.
Zone control within the battlefield.
All right. And then folks were wondering, do I have to have a target in my...
I mean, that's the dirty version of it. I do like the fighter class, though. I respect the fighter.
Depends on the ability. If the ability requires a target, yes, you will be required to have a target even in the action mode. If the ability, however, is a templated attack, such as a line attack or a AoE attack, a cone attack, those will not require you to have a target. You can fire those anticipating movement of.
Let's see what you got here. Why is that screen so damn small? Like, all of a sudden, all of my things have changed here. We'll read it over here. That's the Ranger's job. If you position right, I get punished. You mess up, I win. Absolutely. So we've seen that, like, in the caravan ambushes and all that stuff. If you're up high, or you're in a wooded area where your stealth might re-engage, I don't even know how that mechanic's going to work. But, like, if you're up high, if you have cover, etc., you should be able to blend in and disappear. But if I'm standing in the middle of the road and you're there, well, I'm fucked. That's it. Oh no, Jamie is just raided with 72 people. What? Pockets, everybody. Boy, oh my goodness, this is going to be crazy. Yeah, we're not doing anything here as meaningful as you guys were doing, but welcome. Oh my goodness. Damn. Look at that. We're going to go back. You guys are awesome. Hello. Howdy.
I think there was questions in regards to the bow and the longbow versus the short bow. Are there different ranges?
Yeah, I was just watching Jamie and crew. Damn. Number 1, follow Jamie Chaos. Number 2, Annie Lace, Pockets Art, Aquarian, all these people. Follow them all. Amazing people. They were having a much deeper and more intellectual conversation about PvP than I could ever imagine. And now that oh my God, like, I can't even read chat because this thing has gone like ape shit. Hold on. Let's try to figure this out. Or not. They were having a deep conversation on PvP, PvX, all those good things. Let's see. Boom. We are doing a little deep dive on the Ranger over here right now. Nothing special. Just is what it is. Thank you so much for the raid, though, Jamie. That's so awesome, dude. Thank you for the follow.
And tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Now with the longbow and the shortbow, these changes can be pacing, they can be speed, they can be critical rates.
Oh, let's see what's going on here. Let's see this action combat stream. Yeah, no, I mean, so Ranger, he's just got done talking about in the December 23 stream about the reticle and being able to customize that. Kick ass. Or you could do tab targeting. In this stream, which is, a little earlier, like May of last year, maybe-ish. Even in the reticle targeting as a Ranger, you can tab through your targets, which is pretty badass to me. I mean, I have to see how it really feels, but it sounds good.
Damage, they can be base damage values, they can be separate effects, like the longbow has a charge up on its basic attack, whereas the shortbow doesn't. There's more root motion in the greatsword than there is necessarily in the daggers. You know, the idea.
Thank you, Raiders. Appreciate you.
Has an associated weapon tree for progression.
My OBS, my stream manager, everything's all jacked up right now. I apologize if I'm missing anybody's messages.
Because of that, it touches a lot of different aspects of the combat for them.
And I think the last one is
the Stephen cough. The Minotaurs here with the Rangers. Let's go back. Somebody says, Mr. Cryptic. What is a hum? The hum is like one of the messages I don't want to get from my wife. It's my second least favorite. The we need to talk is the number one, but the it's equally as vicious. All right, we're going to go back here. Let's see. So yeah, that was the September 30, 2022 one where they were talking about that. What are they referencing here? Let's go check it out.
when do you think we will be able to equip weapons in our ranged weapon slot? What?
What?
Yeah, ranged weapon slot. So right now the idea is, and this is something that actually is open to change by the design team as we're going through the, as we have been going through the reflections on Alpha 1 and
Wow, suddenly those view counters aren't working at all, are they?
how the range slot interacts with your main and offhand slots. The idea is
There we go.
that you will have a ranged equipment slot that can have the ranged weapon in it while you have your main and offhand slots as well. So you could have a sword and shield, and you could have your bow or
dual wield, like he talked about.
whatever other ranged weapon is equipped to your back, essentially. And as you commit a skill that might have a range component to it, like let's say you use power shot, you click power shot, you quickly switch over to the ranged weapon, execute the skill, and you're back to your primary focus, right? Which is the sword and shield. And then for weapon attacks,
Hey, thank you for all the follows, guys. I don't even think my mix-it-up's working properly right now, so you guys are awesome, though.
Many years from now,
the ranged weapon or
would
the
you be
main
willing
offhand selection.
to trade
And
all
you
the
can swap
days
back
from
and
this
forth
day
between
to
that as
that
you want.
for one
necessarily.
chance?
So in the context of Ranger right here, obviously ranged weapon and what he's talked about, like you're not going to be able to hot swap gear as far as armor and everything else, but you are going to be able to go, like you said, I don't see sword and shield as a Ranger thing that I'm going to do, but maybe 2 short swords and then back to the bow. That's going to be a pretty cool option. Let's dig back in here. All right. Oh, wow. We're digging back to 2018. So the time machine on anything in the wiki is always good. But it's kind of nice here, specifically the Ranger. Let's see where we're at. Let's go back to young Steven, shall we? This is 6 years ago, guys.
This can be picked up as well.
Look at these guys.
All right, cool. All right. And
There's no jewelry in Dig's beard.
then my final question before I turn it over to the other guys is I would like
And legendary neurotoxin has an actual beard.
for you to explain a little bit how the Rangers' abilities would work if they're using an axe or a sword or a hammer like you were doing in the PAX East demo. Like, from what I saw, they're typically revolving around the bow.
Ranged weapons. Right. So basically on your character sheet, you have the ability to equip
Love these guys, by the way.
hands and then a ranged weapon on your back. So when you do a ranged ability, it'll pull your ranged weapon out and use that ability, and then you can switch back to your melee and shield or something along those lines. So you basically have 3 hand slots in the sense that you'll be carrying a ranged weapon and a melee if you choose, and shield or 2-handed melee.
But how does that happen? Because the way it seems set up now is that the first key is the weapon ability. So you would have to toggle that weapon ability.
That's
right?
correct. Yes, you would have to choose your active Q ability. That is right.
Okay.
So what you would do is you would set your main hand. Do I want my main hand to be my ranged weapon, or do I want my main hand to be my melee weapon?
Ooh, interesting.
With regards to skill usage, for example, with the Ranger, if you have a ranged skill, it'll automatically swap regardless of what your main weapon hand is. But for the combat ability, for the auto attack, quote unquote auto attack feature, it would be your chosen weapon.
Oh, that's actually interesting. I hope that sticks. Obviously, that's from 6 years ago. I hope that sticks.
Guys, jump in. I can keep
All
going.
right, so the thing that I was wondering about, you had talked about stringent punishment for attacking other players and
Oh, here we go with Jamie's stream.
If I remember correctly, you actually wanted some amount of players to be villains, to be those bad guys, to not have it completely, sunshine and rainbows, but if there are people that are the agitators.
How timely.
And so
How timely.
What are you going to do to support their added risk and reward them for going down that path? Is there alternate advantages?
You're welcome, Jamie. Here you go.
Throw a posse, get a camp, etc., as they go along in their villainy?
Well, there are many systems that exist for villainy that do not need to tie into the flagging system. The flagging system is a method for villains to be villains with added risk. However, villains can be villains without risk if they participate in those PvP encounters, such as the sieging of cities or castles or caravans, guild wars.
So that hasn't changed.
Really, we don't want to incentivize griefing. We don't want to incentivize PK. We do, however, want to incentivize PvP. So I don't want to hand a carrot to a person that PKs someone in the wilderness just for PKing them, because ultimately
they're a
what
dick.
that should boil down to is whether or not this individual has weighed the opportunity over the risk enough to warrant going against that crime system, that flagging system, that corruption system. Yeah.
Interesting that you guys were talking about that tonight. Cool.
So
We're gonna stay on track with the
crafting.
with the Ranger stuff and shtick tonight until somebody gets in chat and tells me to do otherwise. But yes, thank you for the follow. I'm sorry, my chat is like in this microscopic font right now, and I don't know why Windows thought that would be a good idea, but I'm blind and apparently getting older. All right. Let's go Ooh. So let's look at some of these abilities. Yeah, they had Barrage. Scroll down. Yeah. Let's go up there. I think I was pretty critical about Barrage actually when I saw the stream on all that, but let's do it real quick.
So now let's say, for example, as the Ranger, I have these creatures and this melee guy is on me and I want to reposition.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what Airstrike does.
Oh yeah, Airstrike. I did like that.
Airstrike does a lot of things. It moves the character in the direction that you're facing, and it rains 3 projectiles down in the path that you're going. And each of those projectiles does damage, AoE.
Dig it.
Also, the targets. So you could think of this more as like not quite an ultimate ability, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah, that ability is so rad. I love
It is badassery, and not just for the effects and the shot, but like getting out away from you fighters.
To grab the Minotaur and hold him.
And now this quick shot ability, by the way, that
Pew pew.
I see it has a debuff that looks like the quick shot icon on the target. What's that doing?
So basically each shot of quick shot will increase the damage of the next application of that
Air
specific
mobility
attack.
is so high for Rangers. Yeah, I'd like to go find
Encourages to unlock all 3 of your charges for a
the
big
thing where he was in the
burst.
canyon on the Ranger thing and was able to fly up and
So
away.
you either have to wait a longer period
See, in
of
the
time
heat
to
of
get that
battle,
burst,
adaptability.
or you
Oh,
can
that's
just kind of
Holgar being
here and there if you want more
Holgar.
readily available damage.
Got it. That's super.
Oh my God. I don't want to bait anybody into breaking their NDA whatsoever, but I wish I was having private conversations right now with those people. But what do we have? We have 6 days? 6 days if I win the contest. If not, November 8th, and then I'm in, whatever. Even if you don't get in on the 25th, Jamie's going to be playing. All these people are going to be playing that we've been watching the whole time. Nice Gaming, Phantom X, all these people are going to be playing this game and streaming the hell out of it. It's going to be awesome. Oh, of course they don't. No, they would never do that because that would be naughty and bad. And for some reason, like honestly, I feel like upholding the NDA for people like Intrepid, it feels like a good thing, right? Versus Throne and Liberty with their beta that they NDA'd for whatever reason, and we're not going to go into that.
On my screen. So we've switched from tab target mode, which is a point and click with the cursor or using tab to
Here
cycle
we go.
targets based on.
I want to see this reticle again. It's been forever.
Right? And into this reticle based mode, which now you
I
can
want the
see
big fat circle, and he said in another one you can change your
the
reticle.
top is slightly grayed out. And we do that.
I want a
to
circle with
demonstrate
graduated
that
marks.
Is a soft lock target versus a hard lock target. And what a soft lock target is, Trad, do you want to explain a little bit about that?
Come on, Trad.
Sure, yeah. So if if you are in action mode and you don't have a target actually selected like you would in a tab target game, then it'll just smartly choose whatever target it thinks is the most appropriate for where your camera
Kill him
is
dead.
and attack that target.
Oh, I love the roll.
If you were to actually select a target,
I'm going to enjoy this so damn much. Oh my god. I'm sorry, family.
Of course, all this stuff is customizable by the user, but if you press the right mouse button in
What are you doing,
action
Cat?
mode, it will hard lock the target.
That's
which means
not
you can
okay.
Take your reticle off the target and it won't change. Correct, Chad?
Right.
That's awesome.
He's having way too much fun over there.
Now we have another type of ranged weapon that we can show. Oh, and I can still,
Oh,
while in
nice.
action mode, I can still
Ooh.
tap to cycle targets as well.
Yes. Again, he said that several times now in different streams. Good stuff.
Showcase
I think I like the idea. Like, obviously, I said this a little while ago. I like the idea of being able to break the concentration on casters and tabbing through that. Like, boom, boom, boom. Dude, lay off the drugs. It's going to be pretty awesome, and it's going to piss a lot of people off, especially if you're in a nice little spot where they can't get to you.
In the last live stream, all of our melee attacks were.
I'm all about the
more
camping.
hitboxes, right? They didn't acquire a hard target, and so we wanted to show a little bit more of that in this stream. And so, you know,
Rangers have
here,
silence.
You're not having.
We definitely have some stealth. We don't have full rogue. I'm going to have to play elf just so that Jamie can comment on it. I'm just kidding. Probably not, but
Other things that we haven't even shown yet that are going to be more action oriented, so we can hopefully hit the sweet spot of having a nice combination of all that.
And it's more fun.
if I was ever going to do elf, it would be wood elf, but with the wood growing out of the head thing, I don't know, man.
Wow. And when it's this mode with the reticle and stuff, it's just fun running around shooting these guys.
Oh, it is super fun. And
Well, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Short bow now. So let me see if I can show off that short bow.
Show it off, Steven. Show it off, sir. We're out of whiskey, too. The damn thing. Ish. I mean, on this floor of the house.
So now I have a short bow equipped versus the excuse me, versus the long bow. And talk to me a little bit about the difference
I dig it.
in the short bow, Tread.
Sure, yeah. The direction that we went with the short bow was a lot more, I almost want to say, acrobatic. Like, you can use this a lot more freely. With the movement, it doesn't slow you as much. It's a higher rate of fire. Basically, this is the more mobile feeling. Like,
Oh, yeah. That's some definite pew pew.
So it's not quite as powerful.
Which one was this again?
You're making some trade-offs here with
Up
range.
to basic range
attack
top.
speed,
Okay.
and I do think right now we're actually putting a higher crit rate on this one, so it's got burst potential. But these are just the kinds of decisions that we want the players to be making. when
The
they're-
sound is badass on the range combat. I'm not going to lie.
What do I value?
I love the movement of that.
When
I
was
think-
this
I mean,
one,
it
guys?
is
I'm
a
losing
very
my mind
different
here.
Feeling, right?
This
One, I'm much
was
more
2
mobile,
years
being able
ago.
To shoot and not have to sacrifice a lot of my movement speed like I had to with the longbow. So just from that aspect alone, it feels like a very different weapon. I'm also not able to charge. I'm holding down the attack, and it's just firing a bunch. You'll see that I can blind fire because I'm in action mode.
So what do you guys think about not having ammo as far as arrows and everything? Because
And of course, it doesn't change.
not
the way
where
you have
I don't know where
access
I'm at
to
on that.
Your abilities are there regardless of the type of ranged weapon necessarily.
Thank God, no ammo.
Short bow or long bow.
Because Asuka is pretty annoying. Where like I gotta go fetch my arrows.
For the abilities,
Good quality of life. I agree.
tie off
I
of
agree.
the reticle. And
Like,
I know there's some feedback that we
in
wanted to
theory,
collect from
you would
players
want
in
it to be there,
regards
but
to this
in
demonstration,
practice,
so
it's
I
a
thought
pain in the ass if you have to go collect your arrows out of the dead, and
As always, every
they
time
can
we
control that with rate of fire.
pretty much always thinking about what is the right balance.
Okay.
Restricting player movement
Nice.
for the sake of weight, getting the feeling of the weight.
I concur.
Being able to animate the full body, all the good things that come along with restricting movement, but at the same time, We definitely.
I don't know how I
dick
dick so many things up on my stream all at once, the lighting, everything, but here we are.
And a lot of people,
Lurk Pockets, what's up?
A lot of people
Yeah, you got to go to bed, dude. You were on camera. Oh my god.
Combat, and we want to retain that. So, just as you see these abilities go off, and
you made your debut during the most contentious subject ever.
I guess we appreciate any feedback on how that direction is going.
Oh, get him. Shit him in the nipple. Dude, this is going to be so much fun. This was 2 years ago. This is going to be fun.
It's how fast is the combat?
Right.
Is it too slow? Is it too fast? Does it feel?
It's a good group of people, man. I'm happy.
Time to
I'm happy.
kill, or what you're seeing right now, or is it what players are liking? Do people like?
Obviously, the opinions aren't the same throughout the Ashes community about every little detail, but I can say that throughout the community,
these aren't.
I like the people.
But for one-on-one type of fights.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll see in a week whether I get to play or somebody else is streaming for sure.
This for me, this speed feels pretty good.
It's gonna be so crazy.
DPS class.
My wife has like a grand opening at her work that I'm supposed to. I'm just gonna load the kids up with food.
They are mage class NPCs.
They can camp out with me right here, and we're going to be either playing or watching Ashes, one or the other.
Weapon types, right? We talked a little bit about the longbow. We talked a little bit about the short bow. Being able to.
I mean, we've got the healthy Coca-Cola from Mexico with the cane sugar. It's all good.
Now, is this the type of ranged combat you're looking for? Those of you out there, especially who are bow users and enjoy these classes,
Does it feel like that?
What is it about?
It's running a little slow at him, right?
That you felt had good range combat in it, and are you seeing elements of that demonstration?
So those enemies look terribly slow. If you played any Enshrouded, the enemies are on you in like half a breath.
In this type of combat as well. I can tell you that obviously seeing is one thing. In Alpha 2, those of you who have access will be able to give us kind of your
That'll be us.
feedback. Of course, that's not
the elite.
Day, so all of us get to watch and participate in Alpha 2.
I'm not the elite though, because I haven't gotten into October 25 yet.
Play it and getting their feedback and
I didn't let the FOMO get me enough.
Another thing that I think is pretty cool that I wanted to talk about actually.
But I can tell you it was a really shitty feeling before they released the Alpha 2 access again, wondering whether or not I was going to be able to get in there because it just didn't work out for us to do it back in the day. If you're on the fence, you're going to go phase 3, and that's fine if you know where you want to be in it. But like if you're not sure and you're afraid that you're going to miss out,
weapons,
if you can afford it, do it.
Skill trees that
time-wise, money,
you want to talk to us a little bit about
patience-wise.
Skill trees interact with the weapon.
Phase 3 is going to be pretty badass.
For sure, yeah.
Yes, it is the dev's first game, but not the first game he's ever played.
Associated with them, to differentiate them, not only
he's completely self-funded. Well, I say completely self-funded. He's the bulk of the funding.
Thing that we really want to capture in Ashes,
not beholden to a publisher. Put it that way.
Basically, so the player can build their character, how they want. And
What's up, Dopamine?
Not just their class choice, right? So, for example, if I'm the ranger, I can spec into my short bow or I can spec into my longbow, and those will be two very different builds. For example, the short bow may specialize or have a part of its tree that specializes in applying bleeds, and bleeds might.
So the specking going to be all in
ranger
skill choice.
That,
okay.
The longbow might not necessarily synergize with. So weapon choice will play into like what abilities and your type you're specializing in.
Or abilities. I said skills, abilities. Yeah.
And we're starting to scratch the surface of that.
And you would also want to take into account the enemies you're going up against, what areas you're going into, what enemies you're hunting, and is it a player versus a monster? Players will behave very differently, and is a longbow getting the drop on them important? Are you?
See, that was one of my comments during Jamie's stream. Is I don't like the games, and they're touching on it right now. I don't like the games where you've got to equip yourself one way to PvP and one way to PvE. If you're in a PvX game, it feels dirty. It feels dirty. Like to me, that almost sounds like, and maybe I'm just doing this from a naive position, but it almost sounds like the PvE needs to be good enough to equate itself to PvP, that one set of gear goes after it. I get what they're saying about where you're at, like location wise, close quarters versus wide open sand, that you might want to equip differently. I should not have to equip differently for PvE versus PvP if it's a PvX game. The PvE players, the AI, should be damn good enough, and I believe it will be. I really do think it will be. Should be good enough that that's not a consideration as far as my skills or my ability choices and my weapon choices. If that happens, I think that's a broken piece of the game. And thank you for the heavy agree.
For being dodgy and moving around them. You got all those things to keep in mind.
Absolutely. Well, guys, appreciate you joining us today to talk about this stuff.
And maybe
amazing.
On that note, seeing as Steven's wrapping it up here, we throw the word AI out there a lot, but if you want PvE that fights as well as PvP, you need machine learning AI that learns from the PvP. It's not going to be programmed in from the beginning. I can tell you from some things and such that I do that is not going to be programmed in. It's going to be learned. And holy shit, wouldn't that be cool to see this exponential curve in the ability of PvE monsters and their fighting abilities. It's like, oh, okay, they start out as this thing that's programmed, whatever, but it's responsive and it actually learns. And given the tech leap forward that they've taken on server tech and everything else that they're doing, I have to believe that this is on their radar. You can't have stupid PvE monsters competing against people in a PvX game. I really think this is something I haven't seen them talk about. I have to think it's on their radar, though, that you might see like the goblins in whatever area that we saw them fighting a certain way the first 10 times you go in that area against them, and then holy shit, it adapts to everybody's tactics. That's a game I want to play. That's a real game I want to play for sure.
The world you guys are building, the mechanics here. I hope everyone in the audience has enjoyed the demonstration. Talk to us, give us your feedback, tell us what you liked about it.
I'm going to clip that. That's my sentiment on that right there. They have to go heavy on machine learning,
forums,
AI, whatever you want to.
It means so much to us to be able to kind of reflect on what the community has to say about the works in progress we're showing you towards Alpha 2. Jeremy, Trad, thank you very much for joining. It is always appreciated. Hearts in chat. These guys.
Nice. All right, let's see what else they got. We can go dig some more stuff here.
Awesome work.
I do appreciate everybody hanging out from the raid. What do we got here? Won't that make bots too hard at some point in the future? Possibly. Bots, yes, but you mean player generated bots, or do you mean the actual PvE? I'm talking about PvE. I don't think you would have the tech on the other side of that from the player side. I don't think you would. And you also, to strongman your argument, you wouldn't want to make the machine learning so good that your basic mob became undefeatable, but you would want to raise that skill level up, right? So you could have like a dummy dial on it. Like, how much do you want it to learn? As far as bots, that's an interesting question. I know it's a thing in every game. Are they limiting a lot of that with the subscription cost? I mean, is that being taken care of? What's everybody's opinion on that? I think we've pretty much wrapped up our Ranger deep dive here. Let me, Ranger timeline. Let's do it right here. Okay, visuals. Okay, that was all this stuff. 23. So what did we do? I don't know. What do you think? Like, bots are going to be a thing, player side bots. Let's call that what it is. Okay, so most recent was up here. All right, so September 30th. Hello. Wow. Either something's terribly wrong with my stuff or it's the worst JPEG ever. There we go. Ranger archetype abilities. Yeah, I don't think any of us do, right? We can theorize on all this stuff. Once we see it in game, that's going to be the thing. But I can't imagine, I can imagine a few one-offs here and there, bots for somebody, a guy in his basement that has 10 machines running and doesn't care about his electric bill just for resources to make his life easier. I could see that. But to any scale, I don't know. Is that even really a thing? All right. Can we zoom in more? Oh, we can. Ooh, yeah, baby. Look at that. All right. Weapon mastery, bows, barrage. Yes. You doubt it. Yeah, I don't think it's a thing. Thorns. That's pretty cool. I do dig this one. I said this earlier before everybody rated in. I think Strider is going to be huge because you hit a group of fighters and give them that extra speed to rush in on, what is it, like when everybody was fighting for that one resource in the Node War? Which, God, I got to revisit that thing again. That needs to be in the next stream, the Node War stuff. That could be a decider right there. If you have 5 Rangers pushing that. The flag. Yeah. Regeneration, scatter shot, multi-scatter shot, concealed scatter shot. Yeah. Disengage. That's going to be key. Backflipping. Okay. Where was the one that we were watching just a little while ago? Expeditious Barrage. It was the air. What the hell was that called? Headshot. Refreshing headshot. No. Hasty snipe, heartstring snipe, all the snipes, bear trap snipe. So I need to learn on the Ranger. Hold on. I'm looking for this thing. Airstrike. There we go. Yeah, lay off the drugs, bud. Leap a great distance forward into the air while firing 3 projectiles. Yes. So this one's going to be key. I'm going to love that. Party Stride applies Strider to a group of members within 30 meters. This one right here. Boom. So if you're making a giant push on whatever Node War little, I'm going to call it a rally point. I'm going to totally screw it up. You know what I'm trying to say? Whatever the objective. There. Whatever the objective is, being able to do that and give... It's like the tug of war and adding an extra 300-pound guy on your side. That could tilt the battle for sure. Raining Death, yes. All right, let's go back, shall we? Yep. Let's close this. I want to see under Ranger. They mentioned something. Archetypes. No. Where is it? Bear with me. We can do this while I say bear with me. We can go full Ashes music. There's something within the Ranger class that I'm trying to remember that I just saw. Thundering Shot, no. It had to do with certain paths in the ability skills that you had to pick. What is it? Hunts. Thank you. Hunts will be the Ranger School of Augmentation. Let's go to that. Hunts do not interact with pets, not to be confused with hunt skills, which are toggleable. Okay. So we don't have a lot on this right now. Hunt of the Bear. This is going to be an interesting area of expansion for sure. I think they're going to do a lot more here. I do appreciate everybody that stuck with me from the raid. What you guys came in 72 strong. 20 of you are here still. Let's go find somebody else to raid. If I could see the screen. Thank you, Windows. Let me do something here really quick. Page source. No, nothing I can do about that right now. Let's go ahead and see what we can do. Raid channel, baby. Let's see who else is streaming. Same category. Alpha 2 countdown. I don't even know if this is a real thing. Who is this? Yeah. Seems like a real thing. Exact GG. He's got a countdown for the game and everything. So I'm going to send all of my fellow Ashes of Creation degenerates over here. If it's bad, I apologize. But if it's great, you'll love it. Here we go. Let's do it. Thank you, everybody, for the follows. And thank you, Jamie, for the raid. You guys are awesome, man. I'm going to hit the head. Hit the bed. The head, and then the bed. Yep. This dude's really close to 1,000 followers. You would really make his day if you hit him to 1,000. Hold on. Let's get in here. Raid now. Turn this music off. Here we go.
All right, that's got to be the last one, guys. One more. Still going, man.
I'm almost back. This fight's fucking crazy. I wonder if he does more.